Good day, class. This is the introduction to Chapter 13 assignment and what's going on with the rest of those open assignments. I wanted to go over first. Let's come over here and look down here. The Chapter 12 assignment was due 2 days ago, and that was the only one that was open. Note that Chapter 14 and 15 have this as the final assignment, which is programming. So we only have one more section of questions, which will be after today's lecture, Chapter 13. And then for the last two chapters of the book, this is the programming assignment that we need to go over a little bit. I will discuss this in all the introductions up until the very end. I just want to start it now for those of you who decided to want to get ahead of the game and start doing this. So for you in the CS 1400 course who are using this concurrently, you're allowed to use any of the assignments out of there. The purpose of this course is just as an introduction to programming. So that is an introduction course. As long as it's your original work, go ahead and turn that in. If you pair with someone else in the class, which I have no problems doing, you need to make sure that you both turn in your own copy of the code, and you also need to make sure that in the code you comment it as to which sections you worked on. I don't have a problem with pairing up. In fact, if it is preferred if you do have someone who can help you. Please use original work, although I have no way to validate that it's original. It is for your benefit, and the honor code at Weber State kind of dictates that there shouldn't be any plagiarism. Here you can use Java, C#, VB, Python, JavaScript for your program. If you use Java, I need the Java files. For C# or VB.NET, I need the solution, and for Python, I need the PY files. If you decided, I did this last course, and I'm doing it again this course. JavaScript was an option that people asked for, and I didn't see why not. This is just an introduction, not a full-fledged OOP or anything like that. So if you are going to use JavaScript, I'm going to need the source code of the methods, or if you embed them all into a web page, I just need the web page. If you want to use another programming language, just let me know beforehand. I usually don't have a problem with it, but I do prefer Java, C#, VB.NET, Python, or JavaScript. If you don't have any ideas for a program, there's a couple of suggestions I gave. Guess the number, have a user enter between 1 and 50. Record how many times it took to get to the guess, and prompt the user to play again. Or you can reverse it and have the computer guess the number, and you can say high, low. The other thing you can do that a lot of people have found quite useful is that you can make a small calculator to determine the area of a circle, given like the what's the radius and the diameter. You could also do a rectangle and determine if an integer value is odd or even. These are very simple programs you could do. You can go out and find the code for just about any of the languages I've put up there. It's pretty easy. For those of you who do not want to get into programming, this is not your field of choice. I've started last semester, and it was successful for those who didn't want to. But you can write an essay. It's a 5-paragraph essay, standard essay that everybody should be used to writing by this time in their academic careers, with an introduction, 3 paragraphs of arguments and a conclusion. So 5 paragraphs, about a page long or a little bit more. And I'm giving 2 topics because I don't want to be reading all kinds of different essays. So you could take one of 2 stands on this. You can either argue that facial recognition is a valuable part of our society, or you can argue that facial recognition is an intrusive part of our society, infringing on individual privacy. It needs to be at least a page long. Now, what am I grading for in here? I'm not going to be grading on punctuation and spelling. I mean, there will be a little of that, of course. But what I'm looking for is a well thought out argument for or against facial recognition. So at this point, again, reiterate, I do have some concerns that there are some students who seem to be very low scores. and I haven't heard anything from anybody regarding their scores. I have heard from some of you, and I hope everybody's doing well in this time. Again, reach out to me with my email. Come back down here again to the syllabus. I can never find syllabus for some reason. You can text me at this number. Make sure Spring CS 1030 and Spring 2020 is there. You can email me here. I get to that fairly regularly. However, I do prefer this email because I check this on a regular basis. Again, include CS 1030 in the subject line. That way you're not sent off to junk. If you're not getting anything or you're not finding that I'm responding back, try multiple methods. Texting is usually a good way as well. So, again, the only assignment that you have will be the questions at the end of this chapter, and this lecture is for the full week. So if you want to break it up into 2 parts, that's okay. And the assignment will be due, and we'll launch it today, and it will be due by the 10th. So again, make sure you get your assignments in. For those of you who want to start your programming, please feel free to do so.